Okay, welcome back to S.P.Q.R. We're just going to be waiting for ID September and see what's going to happen in Rome before that and after that. That Syrian woman. Sybil goes everywhere the emperor goes. Or is it the other way around? What? I've already read that, right? Wait. I think we need to load this one. Grief, my Stella is dead. Yeah, let's see what happens with Gordian. If he's gonna buy him another son. Or if Sanctus is gonna help the man in the ropes. Or whatever it's called. Toga? An Egyptian. Sanctus introduced me to a friend from Alexandria, Callistus. He is not a follower of my religion or the Egyptian gods. He belongs to a cult that follows a man from Galilee in Judea. The man was born a Jew, but started his own faith. He was crucified by the temple about 175 years ago, but his teachings live on. Callistus seems a good man, but his beliefs are not condoned by the authorities. I'm worried that Sanctus seems so attached to this friend. Hope. There must be some way to turn this setback of Verania being alive to my advantage. If I can get to Severus before she does, maybe I can convince him this was the will of the stars. Or maybe I can convince him his dreams are so powerful he must have dreamed these events to come true. Or maybe I could find my student and she could put the emperor in a trance and I could wipe these events from his mind. Or maybe I should just leave Rome while I have the chance. Okay. Interesting stuff right there. An acquaintance. I ran into Callistus, who I knew from when I studied in Alexandria. He also worked for Serapion, the builder, but only for a few months. We talked often when we stayed late to finish design plans, and occasionally we stopped for wine together on our way home. I suppose he is the only friend I had in Alexandria. He belongs to one of the new cults that the Romans wish to wipe out. Unemployed. I lay in bed as Quintus fed me his wife's awful bean soup. My injuries healed quickly. Prefect Papinian and 2 of the Praetorian Guard burst up the stairs, forcing Quintus to spill hot soup all over me. The prefect added insult to injury by throwing me off the Calamidas case. He tossed a few sesterces on the floor as he turned on his heel to leave. Quintus put the horrible soup away and brought up an amphora of Cuban wine.
In the ancient way, we buried her at night. Torches were carried before her body as we bore her to the grave. We buried her with her playthings, some terracotta animals, and an ivory-jointed doll. As we returned to the city, I found myself unable to put one foot in front of the other. I staggered and fell in the road as the blinding clarity of realization hit me. I was to blame for Stella's death.
I mean, of course. Evidence. I was too late. When I got to the palace, Severus already held my fate in his hands. He waved a piece of parchment in my face. He told me it contained the details of my crimes against him and the Empire, and against the Vestal Virgin Verania. He had already sent soldiers to investigate at the execution site. He ranted and raved, all the while waving the parchment in the air above my head. A private message was given to him, and he calmed down. Then he dismissed me. That's weird. Everything is weird. Another close call. Soldiers marched through the subterranean passage, and we were forced to flee the lair. I wonder if they were looking for me. I wonder what the Emperor's response was to my anonymous letter. Has Sybil been dealt with? Is it safe for me to become myself again? And who would I be? And what would I do if I were able to live openly now? I enjoyed living in the lair with Sanctus. I have lost another home. A mother's tears. Pomponia is inconsolable. She weeps in bed all night, and then weeps in the lounge chair in the garden all day. She has lost both her children, and I fear she will take her own life when she can no longer bear the sorrow. I want to comfort my wife, but each time I try, I am stopped by a sense of guilt. How can I put my hands around her in comfort when it is these same greedy hands that caused her grief? Weapons. The festival of Jupiter Optimus Maximus is in a few days. Everything in Rome is the biggest, the most, the best, the greatest. This most important god of Rome is just another destroyer. He brings rain and lightning and thunder in the name of his almighty power. I will have my own lightning and thunder, and I will rise up against Jupiter and Rome. Family. I took my first walk outside today. It was good to see familiar faces and breathe in the clear air. The heat of summer has broken and my walk was refreshing. We passed my sisters, Valeria Prima and Valeria Secunda, who were traveling with their successful husbands in a large litter. I called out to them. I thought I saw my younger sister peek out of the litter curtain, but their slaves did not stop, and soon they were out of sight. Let go. I have been fired as personal astrologer to Emperor Septimius Severus. I was lucky to escape with my head. I can't help but wonder where I made my mistake. Riania must have arranged for her escape ahead of time. She was friends with Gordian. Maybe he saved her. Cotys brings me olives and figs from the market, but I must plan what's left of my future, not indulge my appetite. And the workman in the alley interrupted my nap. Right? Another visit. Slowly, the daily routine rebuilds itself. After a death, I return to work only to find myself staring into space. My mind wanders back to moments with Stella, and I find myself with a weird, faint smile on my lips. I was remembering her just a few days after she was born, when I was interrupted by that questor from the finance office. He offered his condolences and then said we would have to have a talk soon. Then he was gone, and I was left with my memories. Jupiter, best and greatest. Tomorrow is the festival of our most supreme god, Jupiter Optimus Maximus. His great temple on the Capitoline Hill has 3 cellas, one Juno's and one Minerva's. In the middle one, Jupiter sits holding a scepter and a thunderbolt. There will be the epaulum at the temple, a dinner in which I will not take part. The great day tomorrow. In the midst of this week's lavish Roman games, Ludi Romani, the citizens prepare for tomorrow's magnificent ceremony to honor Jupiter Optimus Maximus on the Capitol. The white heifer will be sacrificed personally by our most fortunate and most powerful Emperor, Septimius Severus. The statues of Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva will be festively decked out so that the divine triad can attend the proceedings and partake in the feast for all people present. There are no bounds to the imperial liberality, and the celebrants should confidently accept only the best from the epilons who are in charge of the dinner arrangements. Jupiter Optimus Maximus. In the morning, Quintus insisted on a vigorous walk up the Capitoline Hill to the Temple of Jupiter in honor of the festival. The temple is dedicated to Jupiter, his wife Juno, and his daughter Minerva. I'm sure the Valeri could learn from this happy family, standing at the arcs at the summit of the hill, looking out on the northern horizon. I found myself in despair. In this most Roman of places, I spit in the dusty ground. On the dusty ground, right? A happy day. The finance office was blown up by a lightning bolt that came, they say, from the Temple of Jupiter. This event has certainly improved my mood. If I can't have that building, then no one can. I watched the quaestors as they picked through the rubble looking for their precious scrolls and ledgers that wasn't destroyed. What wasn't destroyed in the explosion was stolen by looters. Many debtors will sleep easier tonight. Yeah, rip the finance office. That's not over here. Sibyl's place is over here. That's closed. Right. Where does this go? So weird you can't even go there. I'm not sure where to click here. Nice wooden stones. Very susceptible to fire and breaking down. Collapse. Basically collapse and fire. Oh. Do we go here? We totally do go here. Now we can actually go there. There's no way back though, but that's probably the only time you actually use that door. So where's the Temple of Jupiter? It's over here. Or here, right? Let's look around. There's not a thing here, which I find weird. Then I don't really know. And somehow this door randomly is open, right? Maybe that will do something. Let's see, I don't think we can go back here. We totally can. Is this door now permanently opened? I'm not sure. It seems like it is. Can we take this back? We can't. I'm confused. Easy game, right? Let's pick this up. Not sure what that is, but pick that up. Not sure what that is. Dot dot dot. Mastery of the thunderbolts of Jupiter, and no one suspects. Dot dot dot. They can't follow a lead. Dot dot dot. A configuration sparked. Arch form. So this is an arch form. Well, that's how you redirect thunderbolts, by copper cables. So we got an arch form and this statue. Seems good. This goes all the way to the top of the temple. Alright, that was pretty easy. From the Orville Brothers. The Sacred College of the Orville Brothers gathered for an emergency session at the Palatine to deliberate on the means and meaning of the thunderbolt sent apparently by the great Jupiter that destroyed the finance office next to the Temple of Vespasian. After the careful inquiry into the records and precedents, it was concluded that the occurrence cannot be conceivably ascribed to human agency. It was further concluded that the purpose of this prodigium is admonition. The Divine Father struck that particular edifice since it must have been used for some kind of nefarious activity, the nature of which should be determined by the state authorities. Calamitis? We can just set fingerprints all over. I guess it's gonna get hard to read then. Someone has stolen Jupiter's and my lightning and destroyed the finance office. Not that I am sorry to see those corrupt numbers men with their ink-stained fingers running for their lives, but I would like to know how it was done. Witnesses say a bolt of lightning came directly from the Temple of Jupiter and the Palatine Hill and struck the finance office. What I would give to have witnessed this myself. I can't really read that very well. We could just go... No? Let's go forward then. Yeah, now we can read it again. So we have this fingerprint and this one. I wonder how many fingerprints you can make until the game crashes. Just kidding. A lucky break. The finance office was blown up. No one was hurt, but more fortunately is the fact that most of the records were destroyed. If an investigation into my financing of the new temple has begun, then the records are lost, and I am in no danger of being revealed. I started out with noble intentions, and things just got out of control. I went too far, and I have paid. I have paid dearly. Perhaps Jupiter is now telling me I have paid enough. Ending the corrupt. The sententia reached and pronounced by the Arvel brothers as regards Jupiter's purpose is in destroying the finance office with the Thunderbolt should give us pause. Sadly, even in the best organized society like ours, there exist a few corruptible officials who disgrace their empire, the Senate and the people of Rome. The divine providence does not err. Which means that the occasional talk at the forum about bribery and payoffs among the current quaestors may not have been unfounded. There is no doubt that the whole sorry matter will be cleared shortly and the guilty visited with quick justice. Justice. The finance office was blown up during the festival apparently by a bolt of lightning that was said to have come from the Temple of Jupiter. I'd say there are any number of suspects who had a quarrel with the quaestors from the finance office, including myself, and apparently that most supreme god, Jupiter Optimus Maximus, also had a problem with those nosy number counters at the finance office. But the rumors swirl that it was Calamided who in fact did the deed. Of course. Jupiter's fury. The finance office was destroyed by lightning that seemingly came from the Temple of Jupiter high up on the Capitol. It might have been just a trick of the eye, but witnesses say they actually saw the lightning strike from the hill down to the finance office. None of the quaestors were injured, but most of the financial records, including debts owed to the treasury, were destroyed.
I am Sybil. I still speak for the stars. I still speak with authority. Lightning, thunder, and rain. Jupiter speaks through the Sybil. Calamitous is still among us. Children of Romulus must beware.
Right. didn't say that Xanthus was saving the man in toga, or if he was beating up soldiers, so maybe we'll never know. So far we haven't known. Let's see. This might be the next thing. Actually, it's very soon. Oh no, it's like a month away. Let's see. The Edict of the Emperor. Imperator Caesar L. Septimius Severus Pius Augustus Arabicus, Parsicus, great-grandson of the defied Hadrian, great-great-grandson of the defied Trajan, says, the Praetorian prefect Vir Eminentissimus Papinianus will conduct a comprehensive investigation into the criminal doings of the quaestors at the finance office. The Quindecemviri Sacris Faciundis will consult the Sibylline books on the meanings of propitiating the father Jupiter's anger against the officials who betray our trust. Why even go to Sibyl or the Sibylline books, who are clearly written by Sibyl, when Sibyl was the one falsely accusing one of Rome's greatest figures of something she hadn't done? Surrounded, soldiers were asking questions about Verania. They asked merchants and slaves, senators and foreigners, if they had seen the Vestal Virgin Verania. A freed woman cackled that they should be asking about the vessel's shade, since she was dead. One of the soldiers slapped her across the face, asking if she questioned the emperor's word. I'm not sure it was a good idea for Verania to send that anonymous letter to Severus. Surely it wasn't. A change in the light. I returned to the site of the temple of the guardian spirit of the emperor. As I walked southwest of the Basilica Julia and drew nearer the construction, things did not look the same. The hoisting machine seems less powerful, the workers less efficient, and the marbles are less beautiful somehow. Through the eyes of grief and comeuppance, I can no longer see the splendor of my building. Oh no. An old habit. I found myself questioning witnesses in the forum about the destruction of the finance office before I remembered I was no longer on the case. I wasn't a very good investigator, and now I'm not a very good former investigator. I was able to find a number of people who claim they saw lightning bolts come from the Capitoline Hill and strike the finance office, reducing it to rubble. There was no evidence of this found at the Temple of Jupiter up on the hill. Refugee. Callistus has taken us into his home. He is a priest of this new cult, members of which some call atheists because they do not believe in the Roman gods. The cult meets at Callistus's home on Dies Solis, which they call Dies Domini, Lord's Day. I am grateful for the heaven these people have given us, but I am unsure of them. They are weirdly zealous in their beliefs. Many of them have chosen to perish in the Colosseum rather than deny their faith. Competition. Business is slower now than it was before I was employed at the palace. Not a customer in sight. Curtis tries to bring in business, but he doesn't have the subtle touch the job requires. Crixus had that touch. One of the newer cults founded by a man from Galilee seems to have gained quite a following in recent years. If it's not one cult popping up to lure customers, it's another. Everyone has an angle on the stars. That's true. Maybe Callistus is the man in toga. I don't know. Ending the brigands. The recent evidence received by the office of the Praetorian prefects confirms the earlier news that the notorious Bulla Felix, the leader of the outlaws who occasionally in the past disturbed the peace of the countryside, was either killed earlier this month by his own confederates or fled from Italy. Well, that's a big difference. Either fled or killed. The brigand raids against the Achillean villages ceased after our valiant troops sought to finish them off last year. Law and order are now completely restored, although they were never really disrupted. Rumors of the contrary should not be believed by the citizens of Rome. The man from Galilee. Callistus has agreed to take us into his home. His cult meets there often, and I am eager to learn more about his faith. His people embrace everyone, including Romans, but Rome does not embrace his people in return. The founder of this new cult was executed by the empire many years ago during the reign of Tiberius. He was crucified, strapped high above the ground to a cross of wood. Members of the cult are routinely arrested, imprisoned, and then thrown to the animals at the games. A rumor. Hanno mentioned a rumor that an investigation into me and my work has begun. Apparently, after the Emperor's edict, the questors are in panic. I wonder whether the one who visited me before Jupiter's thunderbolt struck sought to frighten me into offering a bribe. I must finish the new temple before they find anything. And if the temple is finished before the Saturnalia, perhaps there is still a chance at the prefect's job in Austria. Or am I reaching again? The new cult in Principio Creavit Dos Colum et Terram. The founder of this guild taught lessons in stories, just as we pass on our Roman faith with our legends and tales. His followers believe in only one God, and that this man is the Son of God. That God. They believe man should lead a life of faith and charity in the form of service to their God. I once led such a life. It was just written here in English, but then I didn't read it because I was reading this. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Right. Another chance. Brigands have been ransacking Italian villages all summer. Nobody trusts the official denial in the Acta Diurna. People speak of them with awe and dread, but I suspect they respect more than fear these outlaws. Maybe I will leave the city and join the brigands. I could ride through the night on horseback, a fugitive living on the edges of Rome's strict order. Maybe I could even succeed at brigandry, as I once failed to achieve any success here in Rome within the law. A lesson. Callistus believes the founder of his faith died so this evil world can be redeemed somehow. I believe that one man can destroy this Roman world, but I don't believe that one man can save this Roman world, even though the story of this man from Galilee is inspiring. Callistus also believes, unlike the Romans, that all men are equal and everyone is accepted into one just community. I find my friend's faith gives him a noble dignity he did not have before. Good business. This new cult is going about it the smart way. It takes a little something from each of the other cults and attracts more followers that way. It has appropriated from the Eleusinian mysteries of Greece, the divine Trinity from Egypt, the Great Mother from Phrygia, a story of rebirth from Syria, a dying and saving God from the Dionysians, a story of a final conflagration from Persian, and a sacrifice of holy bread and wine from the cult of Mithras. A teacher, Tertullian, came to visit Callistus. He has literally and legal training, but has given his life to this new faith. I watch as Sanctus sits listening to Tertullian tell of the man from Galilee. He says, "The seeds are growing. The new faith is the new faith is the blood of its followers." Sanctus nods, as if in a trance, as Tertullian praises the believers who die with the beast in the Colosseum. He calls these believers martyrs, which means witnesses for the faith. Progress. The slanted timber of the skeleton of the roof is ready to receive the roofing tiles. A cart carrying some of the tiles fell over, and most of the tiles were broken into small pieces. I beat the slave driver until my arm ached. As I walked away, I saw that all work had stopped and everyone was staring at me. Don't they understand? There can be no delays. This building must be completed, and completed immediately. Well, not too much progress right there. We're saving. Maybe Calamitis, whoever he is or they are, has the bright idea. Maybe this city should be destroyed building by building, sacred place by sacred place, destroy the altars, desecrate the temples, disrupt the economy, steal the holy symbols, flood the forum, blow up the buildings. I must be losing my mind. If Rome was destroyed, what would become of me without the wine shop and the baths? A toast to the best Rome has to offer, whatever that is. A graven image. The empire requires complicity on the part of all its subjects. Whether the people mean it or not, they must show up, be counted, and perform the rituals of the state religion. This new cult has replaced empty ritual with a true belief in one God. They will not make a sacrifice to the image of the emperor, as all Romans are required to, and so they are persecuted, put in chains, and thrown into the arena to be eaten by lions and leopards and bears. Is that how you say leopards, or probably not? Plans. Money is running low. I'm not sure if I can hold out much longer. If I can just last until the new year, then I can move into the funeral guild building, pretending to be a new Sybil. Just arrived in the city, not the disgraced Sybil sent down from the Palatine Hill. Where is my student? If I could just find her, maybe I could get her to use her powers for my benefit. I am her teacher. She should assist me, but where is she? Nobody knows. We'll do a couple more days. Disagreement. Xanthus and I sat in the garden trying to talk in hushed whispers, but our voices rise as we argue. He is swept away by this new cult, not so much by their faith, but by what he sees as their war with Rome. He says the empire persecutes this cult as a threat to its power. I say this happens because its followers do not heed the state religion. Xanthus says they fight back in a way Romans can never understand. I say dying in the jaws of beasts is not fighting back. An audience. The emperor yelled at me about the secret panel in the execution chamber. I explained that it had always been there, and every emperor, including himself, knew about it. He refused to hear me and continued bellowing. I bit my tongue. If I opened my mouth again, I might blame him for calling me away from the insula that day. Who knows what words of blame and guilt I would hurl at my emperor. So I just stood before him, shaking in my skin. Poor guy. Pity. I must stop drinking wine without watering it down. Last night I took the box containing my family funeral masks to Senator Valerius's house. I guess I was trying to return it. It seems I passed out in the atrium of the house, clutching the box to my chest, hugging it like a child with a favorite toy at bedtime. I awoke to find the senator standing over me, staring down at his former son with an expression of, I can't bring myself to say the word. A difference. Rania is suspicious of her new friends. She is grateful for the sanctuary, but she is leery of their zealousness. She doesn't seem to believe as passionately as I do about anything anymore. During our talks in the lair, I thought we shared a common rage, but her emotions are subdued now. She seems to have returned to the serene and moderate woman she was before she left the Vestals. I don't know if this is good or bad. Rituals. Our new friends begin and end their common meals with prayer and readings from their sacred text. The bread and the wine are blessed by the priests and are consumed as if they are intimately related to what happened to the man from Galilee. At the end of the evening, the kiss of love is exchanged chastely among friends. There is a strong sense of community here, one I have not experienced since I left the vessels. Another setback. With too much glee, Gordian informed me that I have been denied the funeral guild. I told him I would appeal to the Emperor. It was a bluff, and he knew it. It was the Emperor who denied me the new lease. I have taken to my bed. I drank and ate everything I had, and I pulled my embroidered cloth over my head, trying to disappear among my pillows. Curtis sits on the floor and sings to me. To top off my worries, I now have a headache from the horrid noises that pass for Dalmatian song. Just great. Alright, that should be good enough for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.